I'm Reen Wilcoxon, founder of Embroidery Garden, and I'd like to introduce to you my new hoop and press pads. Hoop and press pads are nice thick pads that have a non-slip surface on the back side. This allows them to stay in place while you're working with them. Hoop and press pads are an invaluable aid in working on in-the-hoop projects. They supply support for pressing, taping, and trimming on the back side of the hoop. They also help you to create beautiful applique designs. In the event you need to remove any embroidery stitches, hoop and press pads support your stabilizer while you're getting those stitches out. They're also handy to have close by all of your machines for quick pressing, etc. while you're sewing. The pads are available for most major machine brands and hoop sizes. You can get them at embroiderygarden.com, dzgns.com, or your local dealer. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'm Reen Wilcoxon, founder of Embroidery Garden, and welcome to my August demo. How's everyone doing today? Go ahead and tell me where you're from, what you plan on stitching today. Give me some thumbs up if you can hear me and that everything is good. Today, we're going to be talking about hacking my popular in the hoop zipper bags and the new hoop and press pads. Good morning, Star. Good morning, Sharon. Hi, Jill, Marilyn, Ruth, Sue. Thank you all for joining me. I got a thumbs up, so must be able to hear me, see me, and everything's good. Northeast Pennsylvania. Yeah, today's a little bit dreary day here. It was raining this morning a little bit, but I think it's going to clear up. We got Virginia here. And let's see, Shirley's here. Pennsylvania. Everybody is just rolling in. I saw Laura come in. I'll let a few more people get in. Hi, Dawn. Dawn and I are going to be doing a live stitch along. And I'll be talking about that in just a few minutes. Oh, let's see. Lots of comments are just rolling through. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, good morning, everyone. And today we are going to hack my zipper bag set. What I'm going to show you how to do is, I didn't do it on this one, but I'm going to show you how to add tabs to add a strap for like a crossbody. And I'm going to show you how to put a pocket in. I think you can see it down here. Whoops. This one I kind of divided it in half, but we're going to put an interior slip pocket in. Very easy to do. I'm going to show you how to do that. And of course, we're going to talk about the brand new hoop and press pads that just came out. But first, I have some things, to announce and to go over. I see people are putting #garden. There is going to be a live giveaway at the end of this demo for a $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com. Type in #garden. And let me show you exactly how you type it in. Okay, just like this. This is the only way it's going to count, and only do it one time. You do it more than once, program that's running behind this program will kick it out. And let me just make sure that I started the program so that it starts collecting all of these #garden that you're typing in. All right, so let's talk about a little bit about what is coming up with Embroidery Garden. So on Tuesday, Dawn from Creative Appliques and myself, we're going to do another stitch along on our what we're calling Technique Tuesday. So it's going to be on the 23rd. It's going to start at 6 p.m. Central, that's 7 p.m. Eastern time. And what we're going to do is we're going to take my Dazzling Diamonds notebook cover, and we're going to stitch it in some fun cuddle fabrics from Shannon Fabrics. I just love this. The cuddle fabrics are so nice and soft and furry. This applique is from Creative Appliques website. This is Dawn's website. Dawn, go ahead and throw your link up there. And then the applique is also done in cuddle. I just put a link up. I'm going to do it again. Let me get it. So the link that I just put up, that goes to a page that contains all links to everything I'm talking about today. So if you're able to open that up in another window, go ahead and you can follow along, and everything is there. So it's just one link to get to all the other links. I do that for all of my demos. So get back to this. This is what we're doing on Tuesday, the 23rd. We are going to take the original Dazzling Diamonds notebook cover, and we're just going to stitch it out in a different way with these fun furry fabrics from Shannon Fabrics. And we're going to talk a little bit about the fabrics. Dawn's going to talk about her beautiful appliques. Let me just hold that up there really close so you can see. Don't you think college kids, anyone, grade school kids are going to just love this in this furry fabric? I've got another little sample I can show you. Again, August 23rd at 6 p.m. Central Time. And again, the Dazzling Diamonds notebook cover, and actually all of my notebook covers on my website are on sale until the 30th of August. Dawn's appliques, those collegiate fonts that, here, I just showed you here, they are different styles. Her collegiate fonts are on sale too. You're going to find all that information at the event page that we created, which that link is at the major link that I just posted for you guys. So that's coming up on the 23rd. We kind of move some of my stuff here out of the way. And don't forget, all those files are on sale, so grab them now. If you want to stitch along, you can. If you go to that event page, it's also going to tell you all the supplies that you need, because it is stitched a little bit different than if you used fabric. On the 29th, which is not this Monday, but next Monday, Caroline is going to be doing another of her popular wrapped handle clothesline bowl classes. She's going to take you through starting the bowl, adding fabric, creating handles, and wrapping the handles, and then finishing it off. My bowl, my sample is pretty simple, but Caroline is going to be showing you some beautiful bowls that she's made with embroidery on them, with fabric in the bottoms, embellished in really cool ways. So you're going to want to tune in for that. And you also might want to register for that class, because it could be our last bowl class for a little while, because Caroline is working on 2 new classes for you. Okay, so Carol's saying that she can't find the notebooks even from Amazon. I just bought some at Target last week. During our event Dawn and I are going to be doing, we'll talk about, where to get some of those notebooks. They're out there. You just got to look. You may not be able to find them at the dollar store. Some dollar stores carry them, but you're just going to have to look around for them. Let's see. I'm just checking everybody's putting #garden. Remember, it has to be exactly as I typed it in. So get back to what Caroline's working on. So I'm going to give you a little sneak preview of a new class she's working on. Look at this adorable drawstring bag. So this is my sample that I made. I made a couple of samples as we test and try to get everything just perfect for you. You can see it's a cute little drawstring bag. This is a sewn project. This is not, in the hoop or anything. This bag is, it's a good sized bag. It has a really cool, let me kind of show you this, a really cool kind of like boxed bottom on it. So it can hold a lot of stuff. Caroline is making some beautiful samples, but this is a class. It's a reversible drawstring bag, so you can turn it out the other way. That's going to be coming up. And this is another one that I made. Really fun to do, really easy to do. We are going to include an embroidery design with it, because we want to talk about placement when we are doing this class. This monogram that I did came from some dime software that leads to another event that's going to happen. So be watching for the drawstring bag class to be announced. And this monogram, again, is from a piece of dime software that I use. Very simple, very easy to use. I'm going to be hosting the Dime presented event called Beyond Monograms. So be watching for that. And that is on September 7th at 3 p.m. There's a replay. All these things will have a replay. There's a replay that you can shop the deals, and get the special deals for 48 hours and watch that video replay. Again, everything is, and I'm going to post that link again. I'll be posting it several times today. That's the link. Open up that page and links to everything I'm talking about are right there all in one place for you. Okay, so getting back to what I'm actually going to do today, the zippered bag set is also on sale, and that's going to go off sale the 23rd at midnight Central Time. So if you're interested in the zippered bag set, which has 11 sizes of bags in it, go ahead and grab that now while it's on sale. Let's see, I'm just going to look at some of the questions coming through. Carol can't find that size. No, oh, I already went over that one. Even from Amazon, they are out there. We'll give you some links to where we have recently bought these. And right now is a good time to get them because it's back to school time. So now if you don't have a Walmart, you can always order online. Walmart has, online shopping. Target has online shopping. So, there are ways definitely to get them. Okay, let's see. We are also, I want to talk about the brand new hoop and press pads. And I want to thank each and every one of you who have purchased them. They are flying out the door. And let me tell you a little bit about the pads. You may have seen me on with Eileen at Dime on Thursday, where we went over a lot of things that the pads do. So there are basically right now 2 different types of pads. We have the oval pads, and these are basically for Bernina machines. They're the only ones out there with an oval hoop. And they each have, the sizes listed, and all this information is on my website. So we have these 3 available for Bernina machines, and you can get them in a bundle. Okay, so either they're bundled or they're individual. Right now, bundles on everything are sold out. This one has to be shipped out to somebody on Monday. But if you get in on the back order, you are put in line to be, the next one that something gets shipped out to, and I get my new shipment in. So the orders are sent out in the order that payment is received. So these are Bernina hoops. We have a standard rectangular square type hoops, and it's a 5x7, an 8x8, a 6x10, and the 8x12. These are also sold individually or bundled. I don't have a bundle right now. I'm out of the bundles. Again, I'll probably get my shipment in, and I'm thinking about 2 weeks. So let me kind of go over some of the things, because if you have a brother or a baby lock machine, you're good to go. Okay, these are the basic sizes. You're good to order. If you have a machine that is, let's say a Janome, a Viking, a Faux, these pads will fit some of those hoops and some of those brands. Now, to know if it's going to fit, you need to measure your hoop. And I'm going to move some stuff over here, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. I can change to my table. And let me move this up here. Get this out of the way. So here's a basic hoop, standard hoop. You need to measure the inside of the hoop. So put your hoop together. My inner hoop is inside of the outer one. And I'm going to measure the edge from here to here. So if I put my tape down and measure from there to there, that opening is about 8 7/8 inches. I measure side to side, again from the edge to the edge, it's about 6 1/4 inches. This is what we're calling the 5x7 pad. So if the pad itself measures 6 inches wide by 8.5 inches tall, it's going to fit inside of the hoop. It will actually, the hoop will actually be placed upside down on it, but it fits. So it's actually the pad itself is actually about a 1/4 inch smaller on the width of this hoop, and about the same on the height. As long as when you measure your hoop and you measure it the way that I just showed you, as long as the measurement is bigger than the pad, it's going to fit. You can also, if it's even, let's say, an inch bigger than the pad, it's still going to work. It just might, have a little bit more room on each side, and it's still going to work. It's still going to fit. I think that we've already determined that the Viking, what they call their 5x7 hoop, that this pad will fit. So remember to go ahead and measure. And, if you have any questions, let me know. But we are going to come up with a comprehensive list of the different hoops out there and the pads that will fit them. If you have any questions, let me know, and go ahead and, get your orders in while they are on sale right now. So let me check and see if there's any questions. Let's see. Dawn posted her link for the notebooks that she found. And got these things that Jill says the hoop and press pads are the 8th wonder of the world. They are really wonderful. And I'm going to show you a couple more things that they do before I get started on actually stitching out my bag. So you want to know what else hoop and press pads do? Let me just grab a few things here, and I can show you how some of the other pads fit in some of the other hoops. This is a 6x10 pad, and I'll go ahead. This is a 6x10 hoop, and you can see that it fits right in there. Again, measure your hoop from the inner frame to the inner frame and side to side on the inner frame. The pads also have a non-slip material on the back side, so that when you are working on them, when you've put them down, and you put your hoop on, because the hoop will go upside down. So as you're working on the back side, the pad doesn't move. The pad stays still. And we also have, let me grab, this happens to be the 8x8 size and the 8x12 size. So let me go ahead. Today I'm going to be using the 8x8 because I'm going to be doing an 8x8 bag. So let me just kind of move some of this stuff. I'll keep the 8x8 out. Some of the other things that the pads can do, let me just grab my sample over here. I'm going to go back to the 5x7. And let's say you have to rip stitches out. It's bad, but sometimes we all have to do it. So when you rip stitches out of anything, it's always best to take them out from the back side of the hoop. So I turn it over, my hoop over the hoop and press pad, and I'm going to use this tool. This is Dime Stitch Ripper. And you just start taking your stitches out. You want to work on the back side when you are removing stitches, because if you do it from the front side, you're taking the chance of ripping your fabric, or maybe you're working on a jacket or something that you've been embroidering on. You got to take those stitches out, and you don't want to, hurt the front side of something by doing it from the front. So you always work from the back side of the hoop and get those stitches out. And you have the support of the pad underneath here. So you can press down if need be to get those stitches out. And then just, from the front, you can just start to rip them up. So that's one of the uses for the pads. Another great use that you may not have thought about, move this one, is when you're doing appliques. This is an applique from my new hand sketch florals collection. this one's done. It needs to come out of the hoop. But while I was working on it, I would put down my applique piece inside of the applique placement stitch, put my fabric down, and then you could kind of tack it down just here and there a little bit with one of those little tiny like clover irons or something. Or you might be using a fusible on the backside of your fabric that will hold it in place for you. But then put it over the pad and then press from the back side. And the reason you want to press from the back side is because, one, you don't want to crush stitches that you have already stitched on the front side. Plus, when the hoop is turned over on top of the hoop and press pad, now the fusible is actually pointing up towards the back. And when you apply heat, that activates the fusible, excuse me, and brings it up so that you get a nice bond to your base fabric. So that's another use for the hoop and press pads. Another use would be just have them by your machine, whether you're doing in the hoop blocks or whether you are doing just machine sewing blocks. Handy to have it right there by you so you can press without having to get up. I'm going to show you how I use it in my in the hoop designs, because that's really what I developed these for. Because, you know, I've been doing in the hoop for about 20 years now, and I have, taught many classes across the country, and I would see things people do and the struggles they would have when doing in the hoop designs. So let's go ahead and get started with the hack of the bag. So I'm going to go ahead and show you again. This is what you need to type in, #garden. Remember, open up that link that I sent you with the link to everything I'm talking about. All right, so let's go over the pieces of the bag. So I've cut out a bag. I've got all my pieces labeled, and I'm using Laser Bees project tags. You can get these from laserbeestudio.com, and they come with the dry erase marker. The white part is like dry erase board, so you can put all your letters on here. Like I believe I've got A through I in this project. So we're going to go over the pieces. I am going to be putting tabs to add a strap on, so I went ahead and I made tabs. You'll make your tabs to be the finished size of whatever size hardware you're using. I am using, 3/4 inch on this bag. So I finished my tabs out to 3/4 of an inch. I do have, as a free download on embroiderygarn.com, what I'm calling a hardware sampler sheet. It's a PDF file that you print out, and I laminated this one. And now I've made my tabs, and the instructions will tell you basically how I make a tab. And so you have your finished sizes here. It tells you on the sheet the size of the hardware that's used and how wide you need to cut your fabric. So what I usually do is when I'm making a bag, let me just grab this one. This is one that I did the other day when I was on with Eileen. Bonnie wanted to see it. It does have the hand sketch florals on it, one of the designs from that set. And if you notice this fabric, see how shiny it is? It is actually a stretch lame that I decided to use on here. And this is another reason why I wanted to press from the back side, because I didn't want my iron touching this fabric because it immediately would have melted it. So I wanted to show this. Bonnie wanted to see it. But the hardware chart, getting back to that. So you've made a bag, and you want to know, you're going to make another one, you're going to add a strap or something to it. Well, what size hardware is going to look right on it? So with the hardware chart, these things are snapped on. You actually put snaps through it. And then I can sit here and I can audition the different sizes. So this one is a 1/2 inch size tab and the hardware. So I can see and I can, kind of determine, well, do I like that? Or let's see how the 3/4 inch looks. So I can snap it from there. And on this size bag, I can see, well, that looks pretty good too. I mean, I could go up to 3/4 of an inch on this 6x10 bag. I don't know if I'd go to the inch. I think that looks a little bit too, it looks too big for the bag. So that's how you use the hardware chart. And that is a free download off of embroiderygarn.com. So you have your tabs made, and of course you would make a strap. And let me go ahead and I'm going to get rid of this banner there, so it won't be quite so distracting to you. And I've labeled my pieces, like I said, A, B, C is some batting, D is a lining piece, E, let's see, E is the top of the bag, at the front of the bag, above the zipper. Another batting piece is F, G is the back piece. Then I have I is another, H is another batting piece. And then my last piece, I, is the last piece, the lining piece. Now, I'm going to show you how to make the pocket, but you don't know what size to make the pocket until you start making the bag. The instructions for the bags, again, they don't include this information I'm giving you today. This is kind of a hack as an afterthought for the bag. So all the pieces for this particular bag, and I'm doing the 8x8 bag today. Offhand, I don't remember, but I believe all the pieces are cut to a 10-inch width. So you know your pocket you're going to add, that needs to be cut to a 10-inch width. Right now, if you're just starting the bag, you don't know how tall to cut it, but you know that it needs to be 10 inches wide. It's just going to be a simple pocket where the fabric's going to be folded in half to make the pocket. So let me move all of my kit pieces over and out of the way. And I'm going to go back to the table. So I've started the bag already, and all I did was stitch the first step, which was the placement. So I knew where to put the zipper. I put my zipper right side up. I tape it down. And what I usually do is I put a piece of tape across the zipper at the top, across the zipper at the bottom, and then place a few tiny little pieces here and there. The next step, step 2, and let me hold it up here a little bit. You can see it actually stitches the zipper down in place. It's kind of a blue fabric or a blue thread that I use. So I think that you might be able to see that. And so the zipper is now stitched in place. Any tape I had on there, it could come off. So the first step of the design in the bags is to go to the back side. Let me move my tabs out of the way. Get some other stuff out of the way and bring in my 8x8 hoop and press pad because I am using the 8x8 hoop. So I'm going to place the hoop upside down over the pad. Now I have a nice firm surface to work on. The reason you want support underneath your hoop is because when you are placing pieces, and the first piece I'm going to place is going to go on the bag like this. When I go to tape this, I want to be able to press my tape down really well so that it sticks. And this first piece A goes right side down, even with the bottom edge of the zipper there. Let me just go ahead and get it in place, center it side to side, and tape it down. And you can see I can press down on that tape, and I'm not moving my stabilizer or disturbing it in any way. Okay, and I'm going to tape down the other piece. And let me go over here to comments. Hopefully I'm still live and still on. I don't see comments coming through, but I have the piece on. So now I'm going to go to the front side of the hoop, and I need to put fabric piece B on. And this is kind of interesting too, because I have a directional fabric. Goes this way, you would see that would be upside down. And by the way, this fabric, the lining I'm using, and the print that I'm using for the outside of the bag are from Zandra and her sister's new fabric line, their embroidery shop, and their site, it's funfabricshop.com. You get some really pretty amazing fabrics. So this is directional. So you need to make sure it gets in the right direction when your bag is done. This piece goes on the front side of the hoop. It's going to be going right side down. And what I like to do with directional fabric is I put it in place. and it's going to be where the long edge is even now with this side of the zipper. And I'm going to do a little test because I know it's going to get stitched on here. And when it gets flipped over, I want to make sure it's going in the correct direction. And it is. So I'm going to go ahead and tape this piece down. And let me get this in place here. And put one on the other side. I usually just put them on each edge. And then that's enough for me. So now I'm going to take it over to my machine and stitch the next step, which is actually step number 3. It's going to stitch really quick because it's just stitching these fabrics down to the hoop, or I'm sorry, to the edge of the zipper. So it's going to take it like 15 seconds to stitch that. I'll look and see if there are any questions. So yeah, these are beautiful fabrics. Again, fabricshop.com. And those links, direct links, are in that link, that major link that I put up. Let me go ahead and post that again. And then this is the page that is going to take you to everything that I'm talking about. All the links are all in one spot for you. So this is the stitching. Let me bring it to the table again, and I'll switch to there. So it stitched this on. The next step would be to take my batting, and I'm going to lay it here on the stabilizer side. And I'm going to line up the edge of the batting with that line that just stitched, the seam line that just stitched the lining piece, the top piece on. I don't need the tape anymore because it's been stitched down. Always remove any tape after the piece has been stitched down because, you know, you can reuse it and you don't want it to get stitched into your project. So I'm lining up the edge of the batting with that seam line. And now I'm just going to bring this top piece over. At this point, I would like to press. I always press. Pressing in the hoop is so important. The cord is caught on my table over here, so let me kind of move that. Now the next step, which is actually step number 4, it's going to stitch a line here to hold this fabric down, and then it's going to do a stipple design, okay, just to kind of add a little bit of interest to this bag. Let me get it back on the machine, and I'm going to get that step stitched. Since I pressed this fabric, I really don't need to take this piece down. First, it's going around the hoop. It's going to base this fabric in place so that I don't have to worry about it moving. And then it's going to go doing the line underneath the zipper, and it's going to do the stippling. And I see some more people are typing in #garden. That's what you need to do to be entered into the drawing to get the $20 gift card to Embroidery Garden. All right, so as that's getting done, it's going to take it, a few minutes to do that stipple. One thing I did want to mention on the sample bag, on this one I used foam. This is like a thin foam, like Bosal foam. I'm using just like Pellon batting or Warman Natural batting on the one I'm doing today, but you could certainly use foam on this. It kind of gives the bag a little bit more structure. It's not like floppy. If I hold it this way, it still stands upright. There is foam here on the front and the back side too. Very easy to stitch through, very easy to use. Okay, so we got Kathy is asking about the zipper. Let me give you a close-up look at that zipper. Let me hold it up here a little bit. So I get a lot of zippers from sallytomato.com. They did come out with faux metal zippers in a number 3. So that's really great to have number 3s available now. This one, I think it came from Camp Snaps, used to carry the zippers, or they might still have them, but they are faux metal zippers. And faux metal means it's not really metal. This is a nylon coil zipper. This one happens to be a rainbow one, if you can see that. And you can stitch across it because that's what you're doing when you're making the bag. You actually are, these Final seam, the side seam, is stitching across the zipper. You would never, ever, ever use a metal zipper. And let me just get my machine. Whoops. Let's see what happened. And of course, I would have something. Okay, there we go. I'm back in business on my machine. All right, so as it's still stitching, if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any questions about the hoop and press pads, or if you have any questions about the zipper bags that we're using today. Those of you that have already ordered the hoop and press pads, some of you have ordered already on back order. Again, I'll probably get those in about a couple of weeks. And again, they go out in the order that payment comes in. So remember that. And Jill, thank you very much. I've been doing In the Hoop now for, like I said, like 20 years. So it's kind of becoming the second nature to me at this point. All right, so this is done stitching that step. So let's grab it and look at where we're at now. Let's change the camera and move this bag out of the way. All right, so you can see that it did the line, the stitch underneath the zipper. And if I hold it up, I think you can see the stippling. Isn't that pretty? This is just beautiful, beautiful fabric. So the next step on this design is to go to the back side of the hoop. So I am going to use the hoop and press pad, turn my hoop upside down and place it over the pad. Again, I had the tape back here. I could take this off because I don't need it anymore because this lining piece is stitched down and secured. And the next step in this design is to fold this piece over. Now, a lot of times when people do this, they fold it over just like I did, and they're going to tape it down. Well, a lot of times what happens is you get what I refer to as the bubble. See that area right there? See how it moves? See, it's not really nice and flat. That's where pressing a hoop comes in. So if I take my iron now, and I'm just going to kind of hold this a little bit, and I'm going to press. And notice I said press. I'm not ironing. Ironing is a back and forth motion. Ironing could, disrupt your stabilizer a little bit. So I just press. I'm also not using steam because we know sometimes when we use steam that it could distort our stabilizer by, shrinking it maybe a little bit. It all depends on the products you use. But now that it's pressed down, look how nice and flat that seam is. So when you are done with your bag, let me just show you on my sample, the lining, and that it's this piece here that is this piece. See how nice it lays? There is no what I call the bubble or anything in it. It just lays nice and flat in there. So that's how you're going to get some really pretty linings in your bags. And now that I've pressed it, I am going to tape. And again, you have the pad underneath here giving you support so that you can really press on your tape, because we know some tapes don't stick well. So you do have to apply some pressure, and you can do that with the pad underneath here. Next step in the bag is we're on piece number D, or letter D, I should say. It's going to go right side down. It's another lining piece. And the long edge is going to be even now with this top edge of the zipper here. So let me get it in place. And again, I'm going to tape. And again, the pad is giving me support so that I can apply the pressure to the tape to get it to stick really well, because we really hate it when one of these pieces comes off when we're trying to move it to our machine. Now the next step is to go to the front side of the hoop. Take my next piece, which is E, and place it right side down with one long edge, even with this edge of the zipper here. Again, this is directional fabric, so I want to make sure that when it gets folded, the piece is going to go in the correct direction, which it is. So let me get it lined up here. And again, I do want to tape this down on the front side of the hoop. And I'm just going to tape it kind of near the edge. That's all it needs. The next step is going to stitch these two fabrics on, the one on the bottom of the hoop and the one on the top. So when I move this to the machine, I want to make sure that piece on the back stays nice and flat and does not move. And I'm getting it on the machine. And let's just kind of take a look. And this step is going to stitch those pieces on. All right, let me come back here while that's stitching and see if there are any questions. Let's see. Again, comments aren't coming through for me. So, if you do have any questions, you can always send an email to Embroidery Garden at support@embroiderygarden.com, and I can answer your questions. So this is done. It's finished that step. So let me grab this off the hoop. And now the next step is from the front side of the hoop. First, let me remove my tape because I don't need that anymore. This piece is stitched down. And the next step is to place batting piece F. I place it on the stabilizer with one long edge, even with that seam line that just stitched, and I'm going to fold this top piece over. Another time to press, and you know that I have my hoop and press pad underneath here, so just very quickly, I wouldn't be doing this on top of my cutting mat or anything. I can do it right here and not have to get up and move any. So the next step, which is step number 6, is going to stitch a line right here that's going to hold down our batting and the fabric. Let me go ahead and get that back on the machine. Here we go. This bag is going to turn out so pretty with these fabrics. And so as I press that fabric, I don't really have to tape it. I'm not going to tape that down. All right, so while this is stitching, it'll only take it like a minute to stitch. Again, for some reason, I can't see the comments coming through. I'm going to try something and go to something different and kind of refresh it to see. Nope, I don't see the comments coming through. You got to sit there and love technology, right? All right, so again, hoop and press pads are on sale. There is a link on that page that I sent to my newsletter. So make sure that you read the newsletter. All right, this step is done. And I'm going to, whoops, kind of shook the camera. Go to the back side of the hoop again. All right, so you can see the line stitched. I'm going to kind of hold it up there so you can get a real good look. All right, so we're going to go back and put the hoop on top of the hoop and press pad again so that I've got the support that I need. And I can remove this tape because I don't need this any longer. This piece has gotten stitched down. And now I'm going to be folding it up. And again, I want to use my iron. And since I have the hoop and press pad underneath, I can easily press this fabric into place. And it's going to lie beautifully. See, I don't even need to tape it because it's lying so nice and flat. And that's what the hoop and press pad allows you to do, to press on the backside of the hoop without getting your stabilizer distorted. And Shirley's asking, do you need anything under the hoop pads if you use on your cutting mat? I don't. I have not used anything. I'm not using steam. I'm only pressing with a medium to a medium high temperature on my iron. I'm not using steam. So you don't need to use steam. Okay, so let's talk about the next step. I am going to tape this down just because when I pick my hoop up, I don't want this piece to, fold back down on me. But it is laying beautifully flat. Now, in this design, the next step is to actually trim out the stabilizer that's right here behind the zipper. Another good use for the hoop and press pad. I can get my tip of my scissors underneath here. And again, I'm not disturbing my stabilizer because the pad is underneath here. And I can quickly and easily get the stabilizer out. See how quickly I did that cut? And here you can see my zipper. And I'm just going to remove the rest of that stabilizer. So quick and easy. This is going to allow me to have access into my bag once it's finished. All right, so everything looks great on the back side. Time to go to the front side. This is where we unzip our zipper halfway. How many of you have forgotten to ever unzip your zipper? I do put some tape at the top of my zipper just to make sure the pull doesn't happen to get in the way. Or what's happened to me before is I have put this on the machine and somehow the pull got caught and it pulled my zipper right off because I use zipper by the yard. So let me go ahead and unzip this halfway before I forget. The next step is to take piece G. This is the back side of my purse. Again, this is directional fabric. So when I place it on here, I want my roses to be going the same direction. So see how this piece, everything is going the same direction? I'm going to lay it right side down on the front side of the hoop. The next step is to take batting piece H and lay it centered on top. Get everything nice and smooth. Don't tape these pieces down. The step that we're on, step number 7, is going to stitch a line over here, and that's going to connect these 2 pieces that I've just put onto the top. So let's go ahead and go back to the machine, making sure that everything on the back side of the hoop is nice and flat and where it should be. Sorry, I hit the camera there. I'm in a tight little spot here. All right, this is going to go ahead and stitch step number 7. We're almost done with the bag. Come back to the front. Whoops, Vicki has forgotten to unzip the zipper. I think we all have at some point. It's kind of easy to do if you're not, paying attention. Let's see, I'm looking to see any other questions that are coming through that I haven't, Beverly's forgotten a few times. Yeah, we all do at some point. So this step is done. I'm going to go ahead and take it off the machine. And we're going to go to the back side of the hoop one more time. Let me switch the camera. All right, you can see where it stitched the line here. We are going to go to the back side of the hoop. You can see everything. Whoop, my pole was sticking up. You can see that everything is looking good here. I'm going to leave that tape on just in case. Now, let me go back because let's go back to the front side of the hoop. Let me turn the hoop this way. And I probably should have done this before I stitched these 2 pieces on. I forgot that we were doing the pocket. So again, I have a piece of lining. Remember, this pocket is going to go on the inside of the bag when it's done. So let me show you the sample again. It's on the inside. When you open the bag up, it's on the inside back of the bag. And again, I know what width to cut it. I don't know what height to cut it. And to determine that, we need to know where to place it. So this right now is just getting us an idea of where we need to place this. We're getting our placement for the pocket. So when I open up my bag, I certainly don't want the pocket way up here, like up underneath the zipper. I think a good placement for it is to be about 3/4 of an inch to an inch down from the center of the zipper. So I can take my ruler and measure it from the center of the zipper. And it looks like now I am 3/4 inch over here. And let me just measure this side. I am at 3/4 of an inch there. Make sure that you are even all the way across. We're doing this just for placement right now. So my piece would have been cut 10 inches wide, but since this is an 8x8 bag, I know my pocket isn't going to be doubled 8x8 and be 16 inches. I know when it's folded, it's not going to be inches. So I cut mine, I believe I cut this 15 inches. Folded it in half, wrong sides together. So it's about 7.5 inches. You can see it's too long, but I don't care about that. We want it to be longer than shorter, right? So we're just getting placement right now. So I have it where I want it to be on the inside of the bag when the bag is finished. And this is going to be my last piece, my lining, which is piece number I. And I'm going to take it and put it right side down over the front of the hoop like I would do when the bag is done. Shirley wants to know if I put stabilizer on the back of the fabric. You know, when I did the pocket, I put SF101 on half of it. This side doesn't have it. This is folded in half again. I only did it on one side just to give it a little bit of body. So I've got that pocket placed where I want it to be. I'm taking my lining piece and laying it over. Again, we are only getting placement right now. Okay, we're not going to be stitching this down like this right now. So I'm going to grab a couple of pins and I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to carefully pick up my lining piece and my pocket piece. And right now, I'm just going to put a pin here and then a pin on the other side. I'm pinning my pocket actually to my lining because I have it in place. I know that it's 3/4 of an inch down from my zipper. And now I have the placement for my pocket for the inside of the bag. What you can do, and what I did on my sample bag, let me give you a peek in there again. I think you can see that seam that I stitched in there. So this bag has basically 2 pockets in it. So I would take this to my sewing machine, I stitch down the center, and I would have 2 pockets when it's done. I could make, 2 lines and have 3 pockets. You could do it any way that you want. On this one, since I didn't want to, set up a sewing machine here also, this is just going to be a slip pocket, just one single pocket. But I have my placement. So then, this piece is stitched on. We've done that step. Now we go to the last step. We're going to go to the back side of the hoop. Whoops. Going to the back side of the hoop. My pull, okay, was right there. And when I go to place this now on the back side of the hoop, I'm going to fold this down and I'm going to find that fold of that pocket. And I know that it's supposed to be 3/4 of an inch from my zipper. So what I'm doing here, let me just get it lined up and then I'll kind of go back over what I did. I'm just going to measure here and I'm making sure that the fold of the pocket, and it would have helped if I would have used clips instead of pins. So let me just take these pins out for right now. I forgot I could use these clips. I'm not moving the pocket off of this lining piece. It's still there. But I do need the fold to be lined up, just like I had it on the front when I was testing this. 3/4 of an inch. Okay, I got it there. And this needs to come down just a smidge. And now I have it lined up. Let me get this folded back over. I can remove these. I have to, of course. And now I need to tape this to the back side of the hoop so that it does not move. And I want to make sure that I tape this well. And I think I'm actually going to tape it like this. I want to make sure I tape it the pocket seam because I don't want it to move. Okay, let me get that taped down. Let me tape it down up here at the top. The hoop and press pad is allowing me to tape this well because I certainly don't want that piece to shift now that I have my pocket in place. I did not put, oh yeah, Shirley, I did put, it's SF101 that I put on the back of my fabrics. So I've got my placement here. I've only got one more step, but I still have to put my tabs on, right? So let me just get everything lined up here. Now I'm back to the front side of the hoop. I can move the fabrics down so we can see this. I've got my tabs and let's see, here they are. But how do I know where to put them? I don't know where to put them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to advance my machine. We're on the last step, which is the step that's sewing the whole bag together. I'm going to advance my machine until I get to the corner here, because it's going to be stitching up, coming across, and going down. I need placements for my tabs so I know where to add them. So I'm going to advance that last step so that it stitches the corner on here, stop the machine, advance it over here until it stitches the corner. That's going to give me placements for tabs. Now, again, the reason we're doing this is because the set does not include this. We are hacking the set a little bit. So that's why we're doing this step. And this is something that you can do on all of my bags. Not all of my bags have straps on them. And you could probably do on other in the hoop designs. I don't really know about other designers. I do know, my designs. I'm making sure everything's good at the bottom before I get this back on my machine. And then I'll switch over to the machine and show you exactly what I'm going to do to get the placements. And remember, this is just to get a line so that we have our placement. And let me switch the machine. This piece is folded over right now just because I don't want to get it stitched down. I just get it completely out of the way. So I am on the last step of the design, but I need to advance until I get my needle over here. So let me just kind of go. Let's see, I advanced way too much. What I did was I went to the a different step. I started all over again. So let me get to. I've got to get back to that last step again. I was hitting the wrong buttons here. Okay, so I am advancing until I get to the corner here. This is what I want. Right before it starts to make the corner, so I'm advancing, and I'm right there. I'm going to go ahead and stitch this little corner because when I place my tab, I want to make sure that I don't get it caught in the seam at the final step. And that's all it needs to stitch. Go ahead and cut my thread. And I'm going to advance over to the opposite corner. And I'll show you what it's stitched after I get this other little part stitched. And I'm just getting close. I can see the screen of my machine, where I'm at. And I'm just going to let it go around that top corner. This is just to get placement, so I know where to put my tabs, and that's fine right there. So let me cut my thread. I'll bring it back over to the table, but I want to make sure that on my machine, I go back to the beginning of that last step before I go on. So I'm back at the beginning of the last step, and we're going to come back to the table. And I'm going to try to show you what I stitched. So I just stitched, this is part of the side seam. It comes around part of the top seam. Did it right here too. Top seam comes around to show part of the side seam. Now I know where to place my tabs. And Kathy wants to know which hoop I'm using today. I'm making the 8x8 bag, and I'm using the 8x8 hoop and press pad. So let me grab my tabs. Now, when you place a tab, or anything, a strap, whatever, on your bag, you want to make sure that the folded edge, and all I did was make the 3-inch long tabs to fit my hardware and put the tab through the little D-ring. And I like to machine stitch across to keep those two tab ends together. So as I'm looking up here, I like to measure a 1/2 inch over because that gives me plenty enough room. Here's my side seam. I'm going to measure a 1/2 inch over, and I'm going to place the edge of the tab at that 1/2 inch mark. Now I know that where it's going to stitch across the top because I actually let it do a little bit of the corner, and I'm going to have the end of the tab extend like a 1/2 inch past that line. And if I could find my ruler, I can make sure that I'm going to get those even. Anybody seen my ruler? All right, so I guess I'm just going to, oh, it's right here. All right, so again, I want it to be like a 1/2 inch the top of the tab, and it's a 1/2 inch over from that side seam. And I am definitely going to tape this in place, and I'm taping it way up here at the cut ends. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other tab. Again, my placement, I have stitched. I'm going to go a 1/2 inch in. I put the edge of the tab there, and I'm going to go a 1/2 inch above. So I have the placement for this tab. And I'm going to get 2 clean pieces of tape because I want to make sure that these really stay in place. Let me tape this one down really well. And I'll tape this one down really well. So now I have my tabs, and that's how you can do it when you do not have a design that has placements already in it. So put this back over the top, and we're ready to stitch that last step. Remember, I went back to the beginning of the last step to get ready to stitch it. I am going to pin through all layers. I like to pin at the very, very top of the hoop. I don't really have to pin at the bottom because I have this line kind of securing things, but you know, I may start talking and kind of lose my thought here, and I don't want to have anything pucker or move on me. So let me get these pins in, and I am definitely going to be watching these pins as it stitches because I certainly don't want my foot or needle to hit them, but being way at the very top and the edge of the hoop, I shouldn't have any problem. Let's just double check things on the back side. Looks like I got a little bit of a pucker there. Let's make sure that it's out of there. All right, I'm going to put it back on the machine and stitch that very last step. Again, I do kind of want to watch this step as it stitches, just because I don't want to have any issues. Because if something's going to happen, it's going to happen live, right? Always does. So Phil has asked about how long does it take to make one if I'm not showing you how to do it. If you have all of your pieces cut out, you should be able to make a bag from start to finish. I would say maybe 40 minutes, and that's going to include your trimming and your turning. And that's what we're going to do next. We're going to trim it and we're going to turn it. And Vicki says she loves the pocket idea. I do too. I want to come over here and watch this as it comes around this corner. Make sure that that batting stays nice and flat. And sometimes when I'm stitching, I like to stop my machine and just kind of smooth things out again, just to make sure. It's always better to be safe than sorry, right? I do like the idea of the pocket for the bags, and doing it this way, you can add a pocket to any bag. You can even, you know, after you've done this a few times, you can even create credit card slots for a bag this way. So I'm making sure that everything is going well. Sometimes I like to stop, check my hardware. I know that it's out of the way right there. So everything looks like it's going to go good. So I'm going to change camera view and hope that it stays that way. So are there any other questions? Again, the comments aren't coming through for me like they had been. So remember, #garden. Get that typed in only one time. Only one time. And we'll be drawing a winner for that live. When Dawn and I do the stitch along on Technique Tuesday, next Tuesday night, we are going to have 5 giveaways. There's going to be a gift card to Dawn's website, creativeappliques.com, and there's going to be one to embroideryguard.com, and Shannon Fabrics is going to be giving away. Let me just grab the fabric here so you guys can see this. Giving away 3 cuddle cuts, which are 2-yard pieces of cuddle fabric. I don't know what colors they're going to give away, but you're going to be entered into the drawing to get that. So make sure that you're watching that. So this is done stitching. Go ahead and take the hoop off the machine. Let's go back to the table. And you can see that it's done. I could take these pins out. I just prefer to pin because I don't want anything to shift on me. So it is time for it to come out of the hoop. And let me just get my hoop out of the way. And I'll put my hoop and press pad over here. Remember, if you want them, get them ordered because they are just going out the doors, literally. So the first thing I like to do on my bags is to trim away this batting piece. And I only trim the batting. And the reason I do this is to get that out of the seams and out of the corners so that it turns nicer. I prefer to use these little curved scissors. And the reason I do is because I can hold what I'm cutting, in this case, the batting, like at a 90-degree angle. And the curve of those scissors are against my fabric. And I can just speed along right here. It doesn't take long to do this. And you really do need to do it. It makes your bag just turn out so much nicer. It makes it lay flatter. It makes those corners poke out really, really nice. When I did the sample bag using the foam, that was just so easy to do. And I did the exact same thing where I cut the foam, trimmed it just like this. Okay, so all I did was trim the batting. Now I want to turn it to the back side because I need to find the opening. And you can see the opening down there. I always start with the opening because if I don't and I start trimming, sometimes I just trim the opening pieces short, and you really want them to be left a little bit longer because you have to have something to turn in. So I'm going to go around the bag, trimming it 1/4 of an inch away from the stitching all the way around. When I get to the zipper, like I am right now, I don't want to cut the zipper ends down to 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to be trimming around them. I do want to trim them down. I don't want them that long. I'm going to leave them about an inch. And the reason I do that is to, it helps to keep the ends of the zipper from pulling away from your bag. I've had that happen on a couple of them. So now I just kind of leave the ends of zipper about an inch. They don't have to be real long, but longer than your seam here. I'm going to come around the corner, but I got my tab right there. I don't want to cut through the tab either. So let me find it. And there it is. And again, I'm just going to trim around that tab. My tape is still on there, so let me get that off. And let me trim behind the tab. Again, you want to leave the tab a little bit longer because if you cut that off, there you can see it now better. If you cut your tab off as you are using your bag with your strap attached and you're going in and out of your bag, if this is cut short, it has a tendency to pull out. So leave the tab end a little bit longer. And I'm going to do the same thing when I get over here to this one. I'm going to trim around that tab, leaving it long. I'm not even cutting anything off of it. And get behind it here. And you can kind of go back and, if you need to, trim up some of this area here. Come around the corner, back at the zipper again. So I don't want to cut through my zipper all the way. So I'm going to trim in the front and trim behind it. I do want to cut the tail of the zipper off to about an inch. And now I'm ready to finish trimming the bag here. I usually go about 1/4 inch from the stitching. All right, let me get rid of some of this mess here. And I'm at the opening. You can see my opening and see how long the fabrics are there. I don't need them that long. I need them about an inch so I can get rid of all of that. Also, there's more bulk down here at the bottom of the bag. See all these pieces of fabric here? We don't need all that. I need the 2 lining pieces because they make up the opening. So this piece and this piece are all I need. I don't need these other pieces and I'm going to cut those off to that 1/4 inch. The last thing I'm going to do before I turn it, on the corners, these are rounded corners, I am going to clip into the rounded corners. I probably make 3 small little clips in there. This is going to help to relax the fabric and make the bag turn nicer and make those corners come out a little bit nicer when I go to push them out. All right, so now I'm ready to start to turn it. I'm going to reach my hand in and let me find where I'm reaching, because I've got that added pocket in there. And all right. I thought I did something wrong, but I didn't. So let's get us started to turn it. You are going to want to have, a little tool, whatever you like to use to poke your corners out. Get that handy. And I had mine laying here. And of course, now I can't find it. I like to use that turning tool by R&K. So we're just going to start pulling this out. I do use my fingers, though, to get those corners started. And I'm going to have to use this chopstick because I don't know where my turning tool went. I had everything out here. So let me go ahead and just use this chopstick I have. It's handy to have right here. And I'm going to start getting that corner poked out. And this is important because you do want to, this first turn, you're going to notice I've got lining on this side and lining on this side. You want to take the time to poke those corners out nicely at this point. See how nice that corner came out? Do it on all 4 corners of the bag. And I really like that turn tool better than the stick, but go ahead and get this one out. All right, so I've got the corners poked out pretty well. You are going to want to take the opening, that raw edge, turn it in, turn both of them in, get them lined up really nice. I can use my hoop and press pad to lay this on. And you can either close this opening up with fusible tape or hand sew it. I know fusible tape is quick and easy, but sometimes on these bags, I do like to use hand sewing. I do like to hand sew it just because I think it makes it a little bit nicer. I'm going to press up here. I don't like how I got this bottom corner, so I'm going to try to push it out a little bit more. There we go. All right, so of course, you've got your opening shut down here. Now we're just going to turn. You see the pocket? See, that's a nice placement too. It's when we get our bag turned, it's going to be about 3/4 of an inch underneath the zipper. Again, we're pretending that opening is sewn shut. I can go back and sew that shut a little bit later on. So let me get the corners poked out again. First, I like to use my fingers just to poke them out. And then I come back with my tool. And notice I do the bottom corners first. That's just how I do it. And I take the top and kind of get my thumbs in there to get it out. The corners out pretty good. I mean, I like to have them pretty much out, but you still want to go back with the tool. I got a little bit of tape sticking out up there that I can get rid of later. I'm not going to take the time to get the corners out perfectly now. I can still go back and do that, but close the bag. Here are my tabs. Of course, I would press this better. I didn't get that corner out too well, but I pressed the bag and I can use, whoops, I have this strap. This won't be the one that I'm going to use, but it is an adjustable strap. And then you would just go back and add it to your hardware tabs And the bag is done. We've got our tabs to add the strap to it. And let's look inside. There is my slip pocket. I have, like I did on the other one, put a couple of stitches in there to divide the pockets up. But this one, I just made a slip pocket in. So that's really how easy it is to do. And again, those instructions are not included with the zipper bag set. That zipper bag set of mine has been out for quite a long while, and it's been one of my most popular sets. So I thought I'd give you a couple little options on hacking it. Okay, Shirley, Vicki loved the bag. Thanks so much. I am glad that you enjoyed this. Let's do the giveaway. It's your last minute here to get hashtag garden in. Remember, if you've already done it, you don't need to do it again. Just make sure that it is just like this. All right, so let's bring up the giveaway tool. And here we go. All right, so there are 41 entries. I was thinking there were going to be more entries than that, but we're going to go ahead. We're going to hit draw. And we're going to see who won. The winner is Marge. Okay, we don't have a last name for you, Marge, but you are the winner of the $20 gift card to embroiderygarn.com. Be sure to contact me and claim that card, and I can get it put into your account on embroiderygarn.com. So if there aren't any other questions, thank you all for joining me today. If you have any ideas for future demos, I'm thinking while we were doing this, that maybe next month, September's demo may be my hand-sketched raw edge applique florals. You can see how to do it. You can see how you cut them out. I cut this out on my Scan and Cut. Again, that's that stretchy lame fabric cut perfectly. You can see that. So maybe I'll do that next month unless someone gives me another idea. So again, thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.